What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Dauntless Outdoors. In today's episode, we're out here diving out of Bradenton, Florida. Got a Longboat Pass Bridge right there. Putting the bridge up right now. Looking pretty calm. We're gonna see how it goes. We have a tournament coming up in 1 day. So today we're out here pre-fishing. We got work off, it's Friday. We're gonna see how it goes. We're just trying to find some fish. We're gonna do a lot of running. And then later on in this video, I'll show you actually shooting the fish that we find today. So we're gonna catch you guys out there. Probably gonna look at some fish today, but let's see how it goes. Alrighty, this is Josh here. So this is some pre-fishing stuff. If you want to just skip this, you can go to about 5 minutes and 10 seconds into the video and you'll just get straight to the tournament. But this is about a week before that intro that we just did. I spotted a mangrove snapper and I knew we weren't going to shoot him in the tournament, so I figured, hey, might as well take this one home. But I realized it was a pretty bad decision right after that because there was 4 hungry sharks and they all wanted to get a piece of it. I was going to pull it up to me, but I did not want to lose a leg. I shot that fish down at about 95 feet, so I was already down there pretty deep. But we were pre-fishing for this tournament. It was just me and my dad out there, and I spotted 6 APs. I went back down. This is a separate dive, and I just wanted to confirm that I could get pretty close to them. They weren't too skittish, and I knew we had a spot where we could go shoot some. But this weekend was a pretty good success.
What's going on, guys? So after Josh concluded that weekend out with my dad, we did a separate weekend with just the boys, and we went out to do a little more pre-fishing. I hadn't been out in a while, so I was just practicing doing some deeper drops, getting a little target practice in, doing a little meat hunting. So I was popping some snapper up in the water column, just getting my depth tolerance up and stuff like that, and also playing around with gun setups. I'd never put 3 bands on my Orca before, so I put 3 bands on there, and it actually shot great with 3 bands. So I was pretty happy. Shot a lot of good snapper with it. I think this one was about 18 inches, and yeah, shot a few more after this too. So Ben got a nice mangrove snapper, and then I'm going down. I got a new float line, so I got that rigged up. Kind of just wanted to shoot a mangrove, see how it goes, and this is our current weekend now, obviously, and we weren't seeing any pelagics here, so we wanted to secure some fish. I shot that mangrove, should have pulled him up to the surface with me, and as you see here, I get that shaft back up without the fish, and I paid the price. That shaft got completely wasted. I mean, it's not a good shaft anymore. And then this is a short of Colin. He didn't get this fish on film, but it's about a 22-inch snapper, but pretty good fish. Ben again. So I did another drop here. I was actually shooting a bunch of snapper. I was kind of just having fun popping a bunch of this decent sized mangroves just up in the water column, down to about like 70 feet. I think was about the deepest I shot one. A lot of this was about 60 feet, and a lot of decent sized mangroves. A lot of the roughly 18 or so inch size, 17 to 18, somewhere in there. They were actually chumming, so they dropped down I think a fish head or some part of a fish here, and when I did this drop, I could see a snapper around it on my way to the bottom, following just the fish carcass. And so I picked out the biggest one, and he was trying to kind of skirt me here, and I just waited till he kind of gave me a better shot, and then stoned him. So that was pretty sweet. And that was a really nice one too. I think he was another roughly 18 or so. I think the biggest one I shot off this number was like 21 and a half, and Colin actually shot like a 22 something.
Hey guys, it's Josh again. This is the same spot we were shooting all those snapper at. On one of our last dives here, we spotted some APs, so we knew this spot could have a potential to produce some if we needed to find some, but luckily we never had to come back to it.
Ben again. So after we kind of concluded our little bit of meat action, shooting a bunch of snapper and checking out some of the first numbers, we repositioned and we just started scouting for fish, just looking. And this was actually a really loaded number. There was permit all over it. I actually wasn't going to shoot these. I was just kind of getting them acclimated to seeing a gun right before the tournament, and they did not care at all. Those were like 20-pound permit, and they're just vibing out. I mean, super easy to shoot if I wanted to, and really good to know they're there.
Hey guys, Josh again. Ben just saw all those permit out there. We were pretty deep, and then we moved in to a shallower area, and we just wanted to do this to make sure we had another backup plan if we couldn't secure permit out there. But we ended up being just fine, and we never even had to go there.
What's going on, y'all? It's day 2. We did that pre-fishing day. We saw a good bit of fish. Today we're going out. It's early in the morning. It's black out here. It's like 5:15. We got Ben, we got Dad, we got Jesse, we got Gabe, that boy's snoozing. Same with Colin. We're gonna get out there. Hopefully we're gonna get some permit in the morning. Same with a couple AJs, and then we're gonna go for African Pompano after that. So we're gonna go see how we do. All right, just got to the first spot. Got our guns rigged up. Got Jesse, got Ben, got Gabe, got Colin. Dad's getting suited up. About to hop in and see how it goes. Catch you guys in the water.
What's up, guys? Ben here. So Josh had just told me he saw a bunch of APs and permits, so I went down, did a drop, and had this AP stroll in right on me, like probably 2 feet, 3 feet off the tip of my gun. Big old AP. Absolutely blazed him right behind the gill plate. Killer holding shot. Popped his air bladder, and he was bleeding like crazy. He wore out real quick. We brought him up, and then after he came up, a whale shark strolled through. So I started chasing the whale shark to see if there was maybe any cobia following him or anything like that. And as you'll see here, there was amberjack and barracuda and all sorts of fish just started following that thing off the number we were diving, just because it was such a big spectacle. So I was just checking to see if there was a cobia on him. There wasn't. I got back to diving the real number, and more APs rolled in. This was just 5. The big one split off and went out in the open. Another killer holding shot just right down the gill plate. Absolutely blazed them. And that was a really, really big AP. Both those were really good holding shots. And the killer part of this rig was we had guys on the surface ready to pull on the float line every single time we shot, which was probably the biggest part. Pulling the trigger was cool, but like the biggest part was actually getting those fish off the bottom away from predators, whether it be jewfish, Goliath grouper, or sharks. Any deep numbers that we've dove have been really sharky, so that was really crucial. All the guys on the surface were a huge help for every single fish that we pulled the trigger on. I was shooting cable to try and keep from getting shafts bit off by sharks and saving time from re-rigging, and also you can pull a whole lot harder and not worry about breaking cable. So I was shooting cable. That was also another big key. These permit were kind of being smart. They were like breeding permit. This time of year you see a lot of that over wrecks, and trying to get close to them. A lot about 20-pound permit. These look real close, but they're pretty darn far. Popped the air bladder on that fish as well. It took off down deep, and we had guys pulling right away on the surface. I only shot that fish probably 40, maybe 50 feet down, probably 40 feet down to try and keep him towards the surface. Still didn't matter. There's so many sharks. Permit just get absolutely mauled by sharks. They're notorious for that, so I shot them. The guys on the surface, even with 2 guys pulling right away, wasn't anything we could do. Sharks got on him so quick. We even had one guy try and go down and sort of keep the sharks off. Didn't matter. They already had a hold of them. So that was kind of sad there. That was a big, like 20-ish something pound permit. But very successful day so far. 2 big APs, permit. It's been a crazy day so far. So. Hey guys, this is Josh. This is a clip of Colin. He's going down. This is our biggest permit we saw all day. Colin plugged him, real good shot. He swims up to the surface with a real gun, surprisingly, and pulls this fish all the way up. They secured basically a 30-pound permit. It was a little bit over, but really solid fish. It was one of our higher point fish. And then right after this, we saw some big AJs, all sorts of stuff, but by now we already had 2 African pompanos, so we weren't shooting any more of those. And I'm headed down here. This is me. I just shot that second biggest AJ that we weighed. He was 57 pounds. Got a good holding shot into him. And then if you've ever shot an AJ, you know the fight begins right after that. So I got 2 guys on the surface there helping me out, pulling this fish up. And it's a pretty big battle. It lasted about 3 minutes or so, maybe 4. But we secured him, got a second backup shot into it, and my shaft actually pulled right out. But secured our first AJ of the day. It was the second biggest, and then Ben goes on to shoot a bigger one.
Ben again. So I actually saw this fish cross. The viz was so good. I saw this fish cross like 70, 80 feet below me. Just did an instant dive, went all the way down to like 70 or 80 feet, plugged him in the head. He ripped off, and it like blew his eyeball out. So Colin saw him free swimming because he was all messed up. I had one band loaded while I was swimming after him, quickly reloaded my 3 other bands, and then did like another duck dive down to like 60, 70 feet, caught up with him, and sent a shaft clean through homeboy, back out his chin, and he was done for. Even with a sharpened tip, you'll be able to see it for just a brief second. Super sharpened tip. I still didn't even puncture his head on that first shot, which is unbelievable, but really big fish, 65 pounds, and he was absolutely working us. So big thanks for teamwork there. Crazy fish.
So this clip here is Colin. He's headed down. He sees a pretty good permit down there. It's probably about 65 feet. He's headed down there. It's just slowly searching around for some food and stuff. And he notices Colin, but Colin's moving pretty slow, so he's not too scared. Colin finally gets close enough to where he can take the shot. Secures a really good holding shot. Swims up to the surface. It's about a middle of body shot, so he's not worried about how hard he can pull on this thing. Ends up securing the second biggest permit of the day, and that's one of the ones we weighed.
This is a spearfishing team. We've got a 21.7 pound permit. $30.1 on that permit. All right, we got another African pompano on the scale. 34.4 on that baby. 44.6. 56.7. I think he's the big one so far. A lot of fish tacos going on. 64.6. That rounds up to 65.
Alright, he just got back in from the weigh-in. We think he took second. We're not exactly sure. You'll see later. But here's some of our fish. We got about a 35-pound AP right here. Ben's got a 45. And then there's 2 big AJs. The bigger one is right here. He's about 65, and that one's about 57. So
2 big permits.
Yep.
30 and a 22.
Yep. So we did pretty good. We didn't really miss anything. So we're gonna see how it goes.
Was H2O Stowe and Pro, Team 802, Ben McCann with 514 points. They're going to win $500 cash.
Alrighty, just finished up the tournament. We ended up getting second place. Got $500, pretty good, covers gas. Had a really good weekend with the boys. We shot some nice fish and couldn't ask for anything else. So thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.